Hey guys, so today we're going to make coasters from walnut, purple heart, and maple. Alright, start out with your walnut board. This one's already 4 inches, so I don't have to rip it down, but if you have a bigger board, go ahead and rip it down to 4 inches. Now we'll move on to the maple and purple heart. Maple, we're going to cut 2 strips, and then the purple heart's going to go in the middle of it, so the purple heart will just be 1 strip, a little bit bigger. These boards have a little bit of a rough sawn area, so I'm going to go ahead and rip this off first, and then go ahead and rip my 2 strips. We've got our 2 maple. I've cut these both at 1/4 inch, so it'll be walnut, walnut, purple heart run through here. I cut these at 1/4 inch each, so we'll probably do the purple heart somewhere around 3/4 inch. All right, guys, I got my 1/4 inch maples, my 3/4 inch purple heart here. So these will sandwich together between the walnut. All right, now we can move over to the walnut. We're just gonna rip this about 3/4 of the way through. Okay, guys, now that we've got that mocked up here, we just need to glue it. This kind of glue up gets pretty messy, so I usually just use wax paper. Lay it out on that, and then the wax paper will easily won't glue actually to the wood. It'll pull right off after it dries. There we go. Go ahead and flip it to all the sides that need glue. All right, now we're gonna do glue up. Just simply run the strip of glue. Make sure you put enough on, and then we'll clamp it up. With these, I definitely want quite a bit of squeeze out when we go to glue it up, because we still will have to flatten and resaw these. So we'll get all that glue off afterwards, but we just want to make sure that it's got plenty of it to cover any gaps. I got some extra piece of wood here that I've got some tape across so that they don't stick when they dry. All right, here's the clamp up. I kind of do this differently almost every time, but the whole key, try to clamp these together so we don't get any movement that way. Then obviously clamp it this way so we can close the gap. After that, these boards are thick, so your next option will be to be able to cut this in half, or you can leave thick coasters and just keep them as it is. I'm going to cut this in half to get more coasters out of it, and it's pretty thick. So I'm going to run it across the table saw and cut it in half. But you guys may have a good bandsaw. My bandsaw sucks, so I don't use it for this. But then you could rip it on the bandsaw, which is probably a better way. I did have a little movement on this side of the glue up. See here the purple heart sticking out. So you got a couple options here. If we were to joint and plane the whole board, we would lose an excess of material because it's going to try to get it all the way to here, down there. So if you cut this end off and joint it and plane it separate from this one, you'll be able to save more material from both of these. These coasters are going to be 4 inches each. So since I'm cutting this end off and joining it separately, I want to make sure I don't end up losing the coaster by cutting one in half. So you got 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches to 12, and then I'm going to go up and cut it at 13 because I know I made this full board an extra 2 inches just in case we had some issues like this. So I'm going to use 1 inch for this. So I'll cut this at 13 inches. That'll make sure that I do get my 3 coasters. I'm going to cut these down to 4 inches in width. Go and set the table saw. Okay guys, now we've got our perfectly flat board here. I'm going to go ahead and rip it down the middle on the table saw. Like I said earlier, if you have a bandsaw, that works a lot better for this. It's definitely safer and you're going to lose less material, but my bandsaw sucks, so I'm sticking to the table saw. But for this, all I do is eyeball it. You know, obviously open up your fence here and then bring the board up to the blade. And I eyeball middle. You'll get it pretty much dead on. If there's a millimeter off or something, it's not going to be noticeable, especially once you sand these all down afterwards. After we make this first cut, you come through all the way. What you want to make sure is to leave the same side on the fence. So you'll take it and you'll flip it this way to now run it across there. Depending on your saw, you're probably going to get a little burnout like I got here, but we'll sand that right off, won't be an issue. Let's move on to sanding. Now, whenever I'm sanding smaller pieces like this, thinner, small, anything that's hard to hold on to, you know, it's not a tabletop. I like to use this blanket, where you can use any mat, any rubber piece, anything that just help it from sliding around and you having to hold it while you're trying to sand it. Also, with this round of sanding, I'm going to use 120 grit. The whole point is to try to knock off some of these burn marks just from my dull blade. But I'm not doing a full final sanding, so I want to just sand that off, get it cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll move to cutting it and putting around the edge on it and everything, and then we'll do a final sanding before we put anything else on. So this is just a quick middle of the road sanding just to clear up everything we've got it marked with. For dust collection on my DeWalt sander, I got this, I think it's called Dust Right from Rockler. But it's these connectors, I got them on different pieces of equipment, and then this hose comes with it, just locks in, snaps in, and it goes onto your shop vac. I found this to be the best way for my sander right now. Obviously, if you have a Festool or something, you get a little bit better of a setup, but with what most of us have, this DeWalt sander. This hose is okay. Whenever the shop vac comes on, it does pull tight, kind of makes it hard to move around, but you get used to it, and for the dust collection, it's worth it. Depending on your saw marks on your coasters, if they're really bad, sanding can take quite a while. So if you have the joiner like I have, you can just take one swipe on the joiner and that'll get rid of them immediately. That's the easiest way. Also, if you have a belt sander or a stationary belt sander, you can go ahead and cut these down into their coaster size. Just set them on there and that'll sand it off real quick too. The width of these did come out to 4 inches. And so we're going to cut these out in 4 inches just so we can get the perfect square. Now when you go over to your miter saw, or if you're using table saw or anything, obviously cut off these ends first before measuring out your your 4 inches. Go ahead and set you up a stop block just so you can get the same 4-inch cut on each of these coasters. Since we're doing these thin coasters and everything, tear out's really going to matter on this project. So a trick is just to use painter's tape right over where your cut's going to be. For cutting out the corner grooves here on our coasters, I'm going to use this router table. If you don't have a router table, really look for this Skill router table. They have a really good deal. It's like, I forget what I paid, maybe $170, but it came with a plunge router and this table. It's a great deal. So pay attention to that if you're still looking for one. Other than that, you could do this by hand with your router. You can even do this with a hand plane. You could do this with an orbital sander. This is just by far the simplest and most accurate way you're going to get the cut. Quick tip, whenever you're doing this router table, it matters which way you're pushing it. A lot of people talk about like the thumb and the pointer finger, know which way it's going. I don't know. I don't even know that trick. All I really do is look at the blades. So the blades are cutting this way. So I know I'm not going to push it this way or else it's going to be throwing it. I want to go towards the blade. So all I got to do is look at the router bit. Oh, okay. The blades are going that way, so I know to go into it. If you guys notice that any of your pieces do have a little tear out, then go ahead and put that side down and run it that way so that it cuts those off for you. And then also, you'll make a pass on each side, and then best practice is go ahead and make a second pass on each side, and that'll just clean up all your angles. Alright guys, now that we got our angles cut on the side, we're ready to do some sanding. I already hit it with the 120 earlier in the video, so I'm going to start with 180 and finish there. You can go all the way up to 220 grit, but there's absolutely no reason to go any higher than that. So I'm just going to use my orbital sander on the front and the bottom, the top and bottom, and then I'll use a little hand sanding pad just to get these sides so I don't mess up the edging we just did. If you have some major defects, bumps, or anything in there, then you go ahead and use something like this stationary belt sander, and you can plop it right on top there, and I can flatten them out if they're not flat, or get any major defects off. But I don't need to go that abrasive for what I've got here, so I'm just going to hit it with the 180 on both sides and then hand sand on the corners. Alright, for the finish on these coasters, I'm just going to use some spray lacquer. You can use almost any finish on coasters. It's not a huge deal, so don't think too hard into it. You can use polyurethane. You can use wipe-on polyurethane. You can use tung oil, butcher block oil. Really, any of them will work. The lacquers, the polyurethanes, that kind of thing will make them waterproof. So if you're worried about that, you can waterproof them. But the tung oil and stuff will protect it. There's a chance that over time some seepage of the liquid can get into the coaster when using oil like that. So it may not last as long, but the polyurethane, the lacquers, all that you'll be good with. The way I set it up is just on these boards. I started by doing the bottom, so I had the top down, sprayed the bottom, used 220 grit to just knock off some nubs, do another coat. So I did a total of 3 coats doing it that way. Let it dry 24 hours. Then I flipped them over, and now I'm going to do the tops of them.